Okay. Okay. Honestly, I'll be honest, from the way that Ro walked up, I would imagine Jarvan nearby. Just from the way that he walked up. So let's check. Yeah, Jarvan was nearby. You can kind of infer a lot of things just by the way the enemies react compared to their default positioning. Alright, so what's your first like reaction to seeing Draven Nautilus? Also, where's Misfortune? What's going on?
Yeah, that was my reaction. Where's Misfortune?
Even though Misfortune's trolling out of her brains by I don't know what she's doing, you have to play around the fact that your teammates might troll out of the brains. So even if Nautilus didn't get the hook here, like you just being in this position is kind of bad. This is a bit dangerous since there's nobody around you right now. Okay, so pretty much in this situation, if it looks like, they're going to engage on your Misfortune, there's really not much you can do. You just kind of have to just watch your Misfortune just like get hooked, but you can take advantage of this fact by, like, you want to pretty much make sure that you get as much damage as possible while they're focusing the Misfortune. Skill shots, don't worry about skill shots right now. Don't worry about any, like, skill shots you missed or anything. You just have to worry about, like, decision making for now. Yeah, Kane's coming. So Kane's dead here, right? Like Kane's just straight up dead. Pretty much right here is you want to always make sure that you and your ADC is always in a position to like attack at the same target together.
Oh, okay.
So here, so like Kane dying here is bad, but it's like it's fine, it's whatever. People die. So right here is actually like the perfect angle to turn on the Draven.
Oh.
You actually might have gone like at least a flash out of him right here if you turned here, because Nautilus just used hook, so he can't do anything. He literally can't walk up unless he's flashed on you, but then you get his flash as well. But right here, if you both turned at the exact same time and like focus this guy with like exhaust, then because your minions are also attacking, like you would definitely force at least flash out here. But you kind of fell back too early. As long as you're both fighting the same guy, there's a very high chance that you're at least going to be able to trade a kill. So yeah, so pretty much what you did here was you pretty much gave him 2 separate 1v1 opportunities, which is really bad. Like in the general idea of the lane, it looks like it's 2v2 right now, but especially in bot lane, you can isolate a lot of 2v1s. It comes down to just like knowing micro positioning that you can do to like isolate a 2v1, like in like right here, for example. Okay, so pretty much right here, I think a lot of people, they would like in this situation, they'd be like, oh my god, my ADC is so bad. They'd be like, like how'd you get hooked? You should be playing more safe and whatnot. But honestly, like this situation was kind of an like inevitability, where Misfortune dying here, it wasn't because like she was bad or anything. Like the lane happened to work out this way because of all the small things that transpired up until now. Like for example, let's say you turned and bought the Draven for like even a little bit longer, he would be way too low to like maybe even think of power dive. Walking up as like a base would be fine, but you want to like always go back and forth between your minions just so you can like bait out the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, don't worry about this. Honestly, the shutdown's pretty good. Alright. Okay, this is a good roam. Do you know like the rule of when you should roam as just a support in general?
Not very sure. I know a couple of things.
You want to roam when there's the least chance of your ADC dying. That's pretty much the only rule. So right now, because Nautilus and like Draven just went back, so right now there's a 0% chance of Misfortune dying. Like that's just because there's no one here to kill her. But there also are times when you should never go for a roam. So let's say for example that they were here, they just walked up all the way here. Like you have to crash that wave as soon as possible and then go roam in that situation, because there's a high chance that your ADC is just gonna walk up and die if you let this wave just get stuck towards the turret. All right, nice portal. Yeah, let's see, you got flash, that's fine. It's like right now it's perfect. This is exactly how you're supposed to play this like interaction. you want to be like a physical wall between you and your low HP mid laner. But then I think you just forgot. Like you saw the low HP Lux and you were like, oh, free kill. You kind of forgot about your Victor. You did get the return, but yeah, it is. So right now, item-wise, like you always want to make sure that you went mobility boots. Okay, honestly, like
yeah, that was it.
Like the build path you go really doesn't matter in the long run, like especially in the lower elos. But you want to play in a way that maximizes the items you eventually decide on. So, for example, right, like you went mobility boots, which means that unless you're like perma roaming, this is actually negative value right now in this lane. Some people, they go things like Morelos, right? They go like Oblivion Orb to like cancel Soraka heal and whatnot. But then they always check their stats after the game ends, and they realize that the amount of value they got from that item was actually like negative. They got like maybe like minus 100 heal or something. And that's because they didn't play in a way where they were even in range to proc their abilities. These boots don't do anything for this lane. Like, you're pretty much stuck on the first item at 7 minutes. It is obvious that you should be playing safer because they have an item and level advantage, but you can get away with a lot of cheeky stuff, especially because Bard is really easy to maneuver around. So we just saw him leave, right? Nautilus doesn't have X-Flash and he just left the vision, which means worst case scenario is he's right here, which means that unless you actually like walk up over here, he can't hook you. He's actually completely gone from this lane. Ideally, your ADC knows exactly what you're thinking, right? In higher elos, you should know your Mistwatch is going to walk up, but you also have to react off of your ADC. So, so like right here, right? So in this trade, like this was good. This was really good. You started the fight when Nautilus was pretty much out of the fight completely. But you have to kind of trust your ADC would see you fighting and walk up herself. Like, you have to also give her enough time to react to the fact that you're fighting, because, you know, everyone's...
I should have pinged.
Yeah, you have to be willing to take some damage to give your teammates time to react to the fact that, you know, you're taking damage. Which is exactly what you did. Like, if you were here with Exhaust and, like, you were also pounding the Draven, and dude, Nautilus is long gone. He's going for Dragon. Like, this was pretty much a free kill. Just because he also doesn't have flash. The thing about Bard is that he can drop out of fights super fast. If Nautilus was here, for example, and you walked up, you have Portal to escape. Imagine your Portal like a dash, basically. Like a really long dash that you can use to escape fights if you don't want to fight them. Yeah, this was a very missed opportunity, honestly. But it's fine. So let's continue. Okay.
I didn't pay attention.
You're kind of taking a long time getting to this fight.
Oh.
Yeah, and they'll probably come down, right? Yeah. Yeah, they'll definitely come down.
No.
Okay, this was... I'll be honest, you kind of baited your ADC into dying here. I just want you to know this was 100% preventable. You see both Echo and Nautilus here, right? Which means that they are nearby. But yeah, this was actually really good to go for this fight, because, you know, that does mean you have a small time frame when you can actually just engage on this guy without anything happening. So going for this fight here was perfectly fine. It's just, I don't know why you went all this way around is what I'm worrying about. Especially with the sauce, it actually is sometimes better to use it like immediately, just so your ADC knows that you're committing to this. But you kind of used it a bit too late, so yeah, now he's... In this situation, you just saw them getting Dragon, which means that you know that they're coming down, right? It's like, you definitely know that they're going to at least attempt to go down. What you do in this situation is, after your Misfortune aggressively flash forward, you want to spam ping her to the alcove. Like, even if she doesn't follow your instructions, you have to at least try. You want to just spam ping her on the way to here, so that you can portal her out into safety. So she actually could have lived here. It's okay if you miss an ability, but you just have to keep thinking of what you're going to do next. Do you usually go for Locket first, or do you go for Shurelius first?
I used to go for Shurelius in specific cases, but now I just go full on Locket because Lathy's explanation about this.
Oh, what was his explanation?
You don't really proc the passive very often, and you don't scale good with AP, so it's generally not very good.
I honestly agree. I feel like you should choose items based on your playstyle as well as what I always say to people. We always talk about like the optimal build path and stuff, but I feel like as long as your playstyle matches the items you go, then it might be better if you go quote unquote like suboptimal build. Just like know that there's like the option of just going different items depending on if you want to be more aggressive that game or anything else. Yeah, I think it's good to tell you right now while we're here. So when you're using an ability like Bard ult, what I do is the moment I use all my abilities, I actually look away from the fight. I look at the map. Because while you're ulting, your ultimate has like a small animation time, right? So which means that in that like 0.5 seconds of channeling, you actually can't do anything, like, because you know your character's stuck in this animation. And I would look at the map right now, and coincidentally, like this, I don't know how this happened, but Echo happened to walk over a ward at this exact moment. The reason why I point out this is because of this next thing. So here, let's see. So okay, you just got a kill, right? You just got a kill, and then if you knew that Echo was top, then you wouldn't have warded here. Is the thing. Okay, number one, what does this ward accomplish, right? Now that you see all 3 people on the map and 2 of the enemies are dead, if you had a ward, you could get so much more value by like walking here, for example, and warding deeper in. So,
I actually thought exactly the moment I placed the ward after that, oh, I have no wards.
yeah, this ward, like going for this ward is fine in the actual lane, but this placement's really bad. You want to put this ward a bit to the left here so it covers more vision. Dude, what is going on over here? Mega Sun. Alright, nice. Okay, okay. Good game saved. This is actually really good now. I take it back. Honestly, I respect it, but yeah, no, this is fine, it's fine. It's way better to be more aggressive than to sweep past it, though. I'll give that a pass. It's fine.
Remember when you said in chat about like limit testing and stuff?
I'll be honest, whenever I tell my like viewers to limit test, I feel like they mistake limit testing with like running it down. Like it's not limit testing if you don't know what you're doing. It's like I feel like limit testing only works if you're actively thinking about what you're doing next, you know? But if you're just like running it down, that's not limit testing, that's just hinting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right here. So I'll be honest, whenever I see a lot of Bard mains, like, you know, like other like high elo Bard mains, they don't go for like the perfect quote unquote Q after ultimate a lot, which I don't get. Like right here, this is by far the like the easiest perfect stun of my life, right? I think it's good. Like this is where the limit testing will come in. I would recommend you to always go for a perfect timing. Obviously, you could be like, oh, it's like I'm scared I'm gonna miss, but I feel like you're never gonna be able to play Bard at a better level if you don't test yourself into like going for the exact timing every time. There's actually like a really big time frame of when you can like the Q has to hit the opponent. Do you know hitboxes? Like the idea of hitboxes. Okay, so pretty much every champion and like every minion has like a specific range of where the character model is. This is just a very rough representation of the hitboxes of the enemy, okay? If an ability like Bard Q hits anywhere in this circle, then it's registered as a hit. The reason why I tell people to always go for like the perfect pixel is because as the circle passes through the hitbox, if it hits any point in this circle, it actually registers as they got hit, which means it guarantees a stun. This Q is gonna hit somewhere in this hitbox at least once. It doesn't have to be pixel perfect. Like as long as your gigantic Q hitbox hits this red circle at any point, it's gonna stun. Timing is actually like pretty flexible if you think about it. I'd argue that it's actually more consistent, like of landing stuns by doing it that way than waiting afterward. You know, they can obviously flash when they're not stasis. Yeah, how come you warded the wolves at the start instead of like here, for example? Like I just want to see your thought process.
It's just basically just putting down ward in case he got low. If a jungler would be in a position to invade.
I think for the most part, it's actually better to just ward here because number one, it's safer. You're very lucky that no one saw you like on the way to here. It's very easy to fall back here than it is when you're like here, you know? Your thought process of deciding to walk up.
I don't remember.
Let's see. Honestly, I'll be honest, from the way that Ro walked up, I would imagine Jarvan nearby. Just from the way that he walked up, so let's check. Yeah, Jarvan was nearby. You can kind of infer a lot of things just by the way the enemies react compared to their default positioning. So let's go back, okay? It's right here, right? It's like, it looks like Rel's playing super safe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she only plays aggressive when Draven's like super far ahead. at least player-wise, she kind of plays a bit farther away than you would expect. Which is why when she randomly decided to like Giga run it down, it could also be that you were low, but right here, like this looks very aggressive, Like you were decently far away.
For no reason.
Yeah. Which is why I like inferred that Jarvan was nearby. Just the way that she walked up was so suspicious. But because of that fact, you probably don't ever want to walk in this bush like right now. Like I'm gonna hope that you never walk upwards in the next like 30 seconds. Oh god, that was dangerous. I'll be honest, like you just walking up here for any reason was really because Jarvan's still nearby. Dude, see, look at that. See, like he was thinking about coming down. Even before I saw where the Jarvan was, I was like, he like U-turned for some reason. But like watch Jarvan, okay? Like dude, he was coming down. He was 100% coming down. Like he actually would have been in the perfect timing to kill you right here in a parallel universe, which is why this was so scary. You can die so many less times by just like inferring where the enemy could be. Just from that one like small interaction that Rell had by walking up aggressively for no reason, it changes my entire game plan of I should never even walk in this bush. At least for the next like 30 seconds or even a minute. Because it's a small possibility that Jarvan could be there. Yeah, that's just what you do afterwards. So okay, you confirm that Jarvan's not here. Okay. Yeah, I don't like how you separate yourself here. I saw that you walked this direction. But, like, you should have followed Gragas. Like, if you were here, you at least fight the same target together, right? Like, at the very least. I'm going to predict something, okay? I feel like you're going to back off for any reason at a point in this fight. Okay, you backed off! It's like... it's like... Okay. Just from your previous playstyle, I kind of knew that you were going to run away at some point. You had to think about your teammate, okay? Because from the way you play that, it looked like you were just leaving your teammate to die. You pretty hard. Like obviously we're using hindsight bias, but this was really bad. You ulted him the moment that he said Gragas my first stun. And then you ran away. Were you running away? No, don't run away. Come back. Help your teammate. Your team is getting 2v1 right now. Dude, you're going for chimes right now. Where are you going?
What happened?
Okay, I'll be honest. The fact that you both lived is an absolute miracle. Let's think about ultimate timings, okay? When to go for Bardos, okay? I'll be honest, especially if you're like a bit lower elo, like the ideal time to ultimate, it's either before the start of a fight or at the end of a fight. Never in the middle.
Well, there are some situations, I would say.
Yeah, there are situations, but especially because I'm like coaching you right now. I'm just gonna tell you right now, try your best not to ult in the middle of a fight. It was a natural occurrence. The probability of this happening was heightened because of this decision.
You don't ult if there's a possibility to fuck up it.
Yeah. Like obviously if it fucks up the enemy more, then go for it, but for the most part, like especially in lower elos, there's a higher chance it's gonna fuck up your team. Obviously there's gonna be times when you want to use in the middle, but until you get to a skill level where you can decide when you should use ultimate in the middle of the fight, you want to just stick to these two. Oh, okay. Gragas? Okay, this is just 100% Gragas' fault. He went too deep. You know, there are going to be a lot of these moments where your teammate just dies, right? Like you got nothing out of it, your team is just dead. It's like, in this situation, you have to take advantage of the fact that he's dead. Which sounds kind of weird, but like, Dragon's going to come up in like a minute, right? And your jungler just died. You have to think about what the enemy's thinking right now. If I was the enemy, I'd be like, oh my god, jungler's dead, let's go get ready for Dragon. You should assume that in the next minute, they're all going to be around here, at least in the river. So what would your next move be?
Winding around their jungle.
Okay, so let's talk about the decision. If you ward their jungle, did that actually give you more information than if you didn't ward the jungle? You know,
no, it wouldn't.
Yeah, because we just agreed that because our jungler's dead, there's a very high chance that they're all going to be already going to Dragon in the first place. So like we actually get no information off. We know that, you know, they're going to be here anyways, like no matter what we do. So what would your next idea be, do you think? The answer is actually in these notes.
Maybe we should go for a middle, like, they will not defend mid, so we could try get mid turret.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, this actually works as well if your teammate dies. You might have thought, oh, after our team gets a kill for objectives, but this actually also works if your team dies. Because your jungler's dead, like you have no smite, most of the time in the 45, that's going to be a no. You actually flip the fact that your Grog has died into a positive, like going like, oh, because all the enemies are going to be towards dragon side, you want to look for an advantage somewhere else on the map, which in this situation would be mid. Like, number one, you don't want to fight because you're a man down. It's going to be 45, so like you're already not going to be in a good place to fight in the first place. This is actually the best time you want to push mid. Either they're going to have to send some people over, just in separating the forces might give you time to even like go for a contest. If you go fight mid, and then they send like maybe like 1 or 2 guys to fight you, either you can fight them and like look for a 2v2, like an isolate 2v2, or they send out like 3 guys to beat you, but then now your other 2 teammates might actually fight and like separate contest the dragon. I actually might even like completely let my team die and just go for mid turret because there's a very low chance of you getting anything out of this fight. There's actually a very high chance of your entire team dying right here because you're a man down. Like I'm pretty sure that your entire team is gonna die right here just because you decide to go for a random fight for no reason. This was bound to happen, right? It's like there's no way that this outcome wasn't supposed to happen this way. Because you're not going to just suddenly become like a mechanical god and just be able to 1v5 everyone. Like, instead of maybe getting a turret, you actually just gave 2 more kills for no reason. While it's good to like maybe look for a fight if you're ahead, you shouldn't also go for unwinnable fights. And if you ever win an unwinnable fight in the future, and you're like, oh my god, Particle was so wrong, you know, like we just won a 45, you shouldn't use like an outlier to determine if something was good or bad.